On July 4th, 2025, right as fireworks were lighting up the sky, President Donald Trump signed what's officially called the One Big Beautiful Bill into law. That's not a nickname. That's literally the title. It's a sweeping package of tax cuts, spending shifts, welfare reforms, and immigration changes that could affect just about every American, whether you're flipping burgers, raising kids, living off Social Security, or running a business. But let's be real. Bills like this are complicated. You don't need another 800-page PDF from Congress. You want to know, how does this affect me? So in this video, we're breaking it down based on who you are. Low-income workers, middle-class families, seniors, the wealthy, immigrants, we've got you all. And we're going to explain what's changing, why it matters, and what would have happened if the bill didn't pass. Spoiler, it's not all beautiful. Welcome back to Make Sense of It, where we break down finance, economics, and investing in a way even a 5-year-old could understand. And an 80-year-old would still feel confident enough to invest. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Let's start with folks working in low-wage jobs: restaurant servers, casino workers, hotel staff, delivery drivers. If you're part of the service economy or living paycheck to paycheck, there's some good news and some not-so-good news. First, the good. You can now deduct up to $25,000 in tip income from your federal taxable income. That's a big deal. Let's say you earned $35,000 this year, and $10,000 of that came from tips. Before this bill, the IRS taxed the full $35,000. Now they'll treat it like you only made $25,000. That's a serious tax break. And that's not all. You can also deduct up to $12,500 in overtime pay. So if you were hustling double shifts at the hotel or racking up extra hours in the kitchen, that OT now lowers your taxable income too. These deductions apply to income through 2028 and phase out above certain income levels: $150,000 for individuals, $300,000 for couples. So this is especially helpful for working class folks, not high-income earners. Here's a real example. If you made $40,000 in total, with $8,000 in tips and $6,000 in overtime, you could subtract $14,000 from your taxable income. That could drop your tax bill by $1,500 to $3,000, depending on your filing status. That's real money. But, and this is a big but, if your income is so low that you don't owe much or anything in taxes to begin with, these deductions won't help you as much. You can't get money back for taxes you didn't know. And here's the downside. This bill also tightens access to Medicaid. If you're between 19 and 64 and receive Medicaid through expansion programs, you now have to work at least 80 hours a month or participate in job training to stay covered. Plus, states now have more power to check for duplicate enrollments and can kick people off more easily if they don't follow strict guidelines. Same goes for SNAP, aka food stamps. Able-bodied adults without dependents will have to meet stricter work requirements, and states will have to cover more of the cost of administering the program. It's estimated that millions could lose access over the next few years, especially in states that don't expand support. So if you're low income, the bill gives you tax breaks if you're working, but cuts back on the safety net if you're not. Now, let's talk about the middle class. You might be raising kids, juggling 2 jobs, paying down a mortgage, and trying to save a little each month. If that's you, this bill gives you a handful of tax goodies. Let's start with the 2017 Trump tax cuts. These were always supposed to expire in 2025. That meant your federal tax brackets were set to go back up next year. But this new bill makes them permanent. That's a huge deal for millions of households. For example, before the 2017 cuts, the 15% tax bracket was standard for many Americans. That got dropped to 12%, and the 25% bracket dropped to 22%. The standard deduction nearly doubled, from $12,700 for couples in 2017 to $27,700 in 2024. And that amount continues to rise with inflation. Let's put it into numbers. Say you're married with 2 kids and earn $80,000 a year. Before 2017, your federal tax bill might have been $7,000 and $9,000. After the cuts, more like $4,000 to $6,000. That's a $2,000 to $3,000 savings every year. Multiply that over a decade, and you're looking at $20,000 to $30,000 saved, just by keeping the tax system as is. The bill also increases the child tax credit from $2,000 to $2,200 per qualifying child, and it's now adjusted for inflation. But here's the catch. The refundable portion stays at $1,400, which means that's the maximum cash refund you can receive if you don't owe much or any income tax. It's designed to help families with lower incomes still get some benefit, but the full $2,200 only helps if you owe that much in taxes. Oh, and if you're buying a car for the first time and it's made in the US, you can now deduct the interest on the auto loan up to $10,000 per year. That's not nothing in today's economy, where even a used car can feel like a mortgage. Plus, there's a quirky one. If you have a kid born between 2025 and 2028, and they're a US citizen with a Social Security number, the government will automatically deposit $1,000 into a Trump account in their name, if you register in time. The goal is to promote long-term savings and investing for the next generation. Yes, it's real. Yes, it's actually called that. Between all these provisions, permanent tax rates, boosted deductions, bigger child credit, and bonus baby money, this bill leans heavily in favor of middle-class working families trying to stretch every dollar. All right, Grandma and Grandpa, this one's for you. If you're over 65 and earning less than $75,000 a year, you now get a $6,000 senior deduction on top of your standard deduction. That means more of your Social Security income could be completely tax-free. According to the IRS, about 40% of seniors currently pay no federal income tax. With this change, that number could go up to nearly 60%, depending on other income. So, yes, for many retirees, this is a direct tax win. Now, this bill doesn't change much for Medicare, so if you're already on it, you're fine for now. But future funding for Social Security and Medicare could be stressed by the rising national debt this bill creates, which we'll talk about later. What if you're a high-income earner, or the 1%? Now, let's be honest. If you're making six figures or more, or you're a business owner or investor, this bill is kind of a jackpot. First, the bill raises the cap on SALT deductions. That's the amount you can deduct for state and local taxes, from $10,000 to $40,000. If you live in high-tax states like California or New York, that's a massive tax break. Pass-through business owners, think LLCs, partnerships, keep their favorable deduction rules. Estate tax thresholds stay high, and capital gains rates are untouched. So, if you're making money from investments or running a profitable business, you continue to enjoy serious advantages. So, if you're wealthy, this bill mostly helps you keep more of your money and opens up new deductions. How about if you're an immigrant or visa holder? Coming to the US just got more expensive. The bill introduces a $250 visa integrity fee for most non-immigrant visas, tourist, student, work. If you come and leave legally and don't violate the terms, that money gets refunded. If you overstay or work off the books, you lose the deposit. There's also a $24 fee for the I-94 form, which is the arrival-departure record for non-citizens. Think of it like being charged to fill out paperwork at the DMV, but international. And if you cross the border illegally, the penalty is now a minimum $5,000 fine per person. No flexibility, no waivers. Plus, ICE just got a massive funding increase, and enforcement is expected to ramp up significantly. Outside of personal taxes, the bill makes major shifts in national spending. There's $350 billion in new spending for defense and border security, including modernizing the military and expanding ICE operations. This aligns with Trump's peace through strength philosophy, but it also adds to the national debt. Speaking of which, the Congressional Budget Office estimates this bill will add between $2.8 and $3.4 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years. That's a lot of zeros. Supporters say it's worth it for growth and security. Critics warn it could put Social Security, Medicare, and other programs at risk in the long run. Oh, and if you're in the renewable energy space, bad news. Green energy tax credits are gone. Support for EVs and solar was gutted. This is a pivot back to traditional fossil fuels and domestic production. Companies like Tesla, solar startups, and wind developers are not thrilled. So, is the one big beautiful bill actually beautiful? If you're middle class, a service worker, or a business owner, you'll probably see some real benefits. If you're low income and relying on safety nets like SNAP or Medicaid, you might be facing tougher rules and fewer resources. Seniors get tax relief, but long-term funding for Medicare and Social Security could be strained. Immigrants will see higher costs. And the wealthy? Well, let's just say they're not losing any sleep over this bill. If this video helped you make sense of the madness, give it a like, leave a comment about how the bill affects you, and subscribe for more plain English breakdowns of big policy changes. Until next time, stay bold, stay questioning, and remember, confusion is expensive.